Let me show you something else that I think you're just going to love, and something that I really love in Vanishing Point, which is something different that you don't see when you're in the normal Photoshop environment there. I'm going to select the marquee tool, draw another selection over the wall here. I'm going to hold down Alt and Shift and patch up the end of this bike here. But I want you to look at something really closely. I'm just doing this just to show you something real quick, because I probably won't leave it like this. But I've dragged this copy over from down here. I've patched up the back end of this bike. The coolest thing, though, we can actually feather selections in real time with Vanishing Point. Check this out. And I'll come up here to the feather option and slide this feather value slider here, and you can start to see the edges become very soft where that patch is. Look at that. Let me show you something else here. You may find that sometimes you might not want your opacity at 100% with your patches, so you can actually turn down the opacity just like this, almost like turning down the opacity of a layer and then seeing what's below that layer. It's the same way, except it's actually just an area or a patch that you've just selected. So it's kind of cool. It's not really like a real layer or anything like that. So it really works really nicely in that way. And so maybe you don't want to cover up something 100%. You just want to do it very gradual, so you can come in here and turn down the opacity. But of course for this, we're going to leave it at 100%. Okay. Those are some other little cool tricks and things and options you can play with in Vanishing Point. Alright, so now you really get the general idea on how Vanishing Point works. It's a lot of fun. And the cool thing is that we don't have to really leave Vanishing Point to finish things. We can all really do everything right in here. We have all the tools, we have all the options, we even have a brush tool in Vanishing Point. We have the smudge tool, we even have an eyedropper tool, we have a ruler. So we have so many tools available to us that we don't have to leave Vanishing Point and go back into it. We can just do everything right here. Go ahead and click OK. It's a done deal. And you can see, since we've created a new layer, before we went into Vanishing Point, all those areas that we've patched and edited is on its own separate layer. Look at that. But let me show you something else here. Let me move this out of the way, and let's get our completed image right here. And of course, this took me a little bit more time. I didn't want to do the whole entire image. I didn't want to erase the whole bike, because it's going to take maybe a couple hours or an hour and a half or so, and I don't want you to feel like you had to watch me go through the whole thing. So I'm just going to jump ahead here and show you some other tricks after you are finished in Vanishing Point. But what we can do, if I make this touch-up layer invisible, and I think I spelt that wrong. I think I need a C in there. There we go. If I make this invisible, we can see the bike right underneath it. But sometimes we might patch a little bit more than we wanted to. The cool thing about having all the edits that we made in Vanishing Point on its own layer is that we can create a layer mask, and then I can select the paintbrush on the toolbar with the foreground as black. I can come in here and paint back areas that were patched up in Vanishing Point. So I can lower the opacity of this layer, and we can start to see the original layer below it. But you can see like something like this crack here that was patched up. But what I can do is turn that down, turn this opacity of this layer down, just so I can see what I'm doing here. I'll click on the layer mask with the brush, and I can come through here and paint back areas of the original image. So I can just go around the bike here and bring everything back. Not everything, but just to the bicycle there. And then I can turn the opacity back up, and now we have a crack there in the image. You can see this is before, and now that we've used the mask, this is after. So we've brought back some of the detail, and I can just patch up some of these little areas here. There we go. So there's a lot of cool things you can do with this. And Vanishing Point just rocks. So there you have it. I hope you got a lot out of this. Use Vanishing Point. It works. It's a great tool. And we'll see you guys on the next video.